away from me.
Get out of here!
Hi
friends.
Guys.
Friends. Welcome back. Today I am here with this guy, and for those of you who don't know, this is my husband. Today we are going to be doing a random Q&A. I popped on my Instagram stories a couple of times and asked for you guys to submit us some questions to answer, and that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna roll right into it. Okay, so the first question is, who loves the dogs more?
100% her. I'm not really the biggest dog fan.
You
I
love
do
them.
love them. I do love them.
But I love
but
them
I would
more.
not say that I'm a dog person.
I love them more. For those of you who don't know, we have 2 little dogs, and if you want to see what they look like, you can pop on over to my Instagram. I'll leave both of our social medias in the comments.
You know what? I take that back.
What?
I like dogs. I don't like our dogs because
you just ruined my sentence completely, entirely.
I'm sorry.
What's your favorite go-to date night? Wine and Netflix.
See, mine's a little different.
Wine and Netflix.
My ideal date night would be going somewhere we've never been before and just exploring. That's my favorite thing.
He's the more adventurous one. I like my comfort zone. I like to stay.
I like that too, but I think it's because we stay inside the house. Like, we work from the house. We do literally everything from the house. That when I think of like a date night or like something entertaining to do, usually doesn't involve the house because we're
You don't
always
really take me
here.
out on dates.
Okay, you know what? I'm taking her on a date tonight.
If I let you.
You'll let me.
It has to be planned. You can't just be like.
No, it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
See that? Okay, so we've been doing Dave Ramsey, and there's like the nerd and the free spirit. I am 100% the free spirit.
I am the nerd.
She's definitely the nerd. She's like, no, we have to have a plan. Where are we going? What are we doing? What are we eating? How do we get there? Like all this stuff, and I'm just like, let's figure it out.
Do you guys do a deal if we book both of you for a wedding, asking for a future bride's self? Love you both. For those of you who don't know, Josh and I own our own companies. I'm a wedding photographer. He's a wedding cinematographer, amongst other video, cinema things.
I just do videos.
He just does videos. And to answer the question, we do work together. We do offer packages together. However, they aren't discounted or anything like that. But we do like to give our brides opportunities to work with both of us because obviously we work great together. We love each other most of the time.
Most of the time.
Favorite place you've traveled to together, US and overseas?
The first one that I think of, which is gonna be Erika's, she's not gonna agree.
Oh, Atlanta?
No, not even Atlanta. It's gonna be New York. I really liked it. We went to Brooklyn.
Yeah, that was fun.
We went to Brooklyn and New York to film a music video for
And we went
artists.
another time with Madison.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were fun trips.
both
I
fun
like
trips.
it.
Yeah,
I like
Erika's-
visiting. I just wouldn't live there.
Yeah. I like to see, love the city, and Erika's less than
And I think we can agree you overseas, Turks and Caicos.
Turks and Caicos.
Turks and Caicos.
If you haven't seen that video, it's actually on this channel, right? Because Erika took over, she hijacked her old vlog channel, and now it's her channel. So go check it out, we'll link it.
Do you and the hubs work together? We do. We just chatted about that.
Explain. Because people, if you're not in the
How
industry,
we work
you
together?
might not know. Yeah.
Okay, so we work together on wedding days, and we also work together if we have a couple. So if a bride and groom comes to us and they're like, hey, we want to book you guys for photo and video, obviously we're so excited because we love when we get to work together. We call each other each our secret weapons because obviously we're husband and wife. We get each other. We just we know what we need when we need it. It's just we get each other. We do engagement sessions together and we work with our couples together, and we really love when we get to work together.
But most of the time it is, since Erika shoots a lot of weddings that I don't have dates on, so a lot of times it works out to where I'll book a wedding and Erika won't have a wedding on the same date, so then she second shoots for me. In the wedding industry,
versa.
the wedding industry, you always have to have a second shooter. That's pretty standard. So she'll shoot for me and I'll shoot for her on the weddings that I don't have weddings on, and it works out because we don't have to pay each other a second shooter rate, which is what you have to do otherwise. And like she said, we work great together.
What age did you get engaged and married? We got engaged when I was 19, he was 20, and we just recently got married. I was 21, I am 21, he's 22.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we just got married.
We're
How many
youngins.
months ago?
2 and some change.
How did you and Josh meet? We actually have a video on this. I think, is it on this channel?
I think it was
the
the very first one. I have.
We both look horrible. The glow up though is so real. No, I mean, for a while we kind of hid how we actually met because it's not anything bad. We met on Twitter.
Yeah, we met on Twitter. But we used to tell people through common interests because
that's kind of like, okay, so I still to this day don't remember how I ended up on your page. I ended up on his Twitter page, and I was never someone that was like really into Twitter, but somehow like I was on Twitter and I ended up on his page. And this was when I first started my business, and he had a picture of him kissing his camera. He always likes to add that detail of him kissing a camera, and his bio was like, you know, artsy, whatever. And I was like, oh, cool. Another photographer, another creative, like in our town, which was a small town. I was like, that's really cool. I'll follow him. And then he followed me back, and then he DM'd me, and yeah.
I said, hey, you're really cute.
That's not what you said. I don't remember what you said. I'm pretty sure you just said, hey, smiley face.
I think it was hey, winky face.
No, I think it was hey, smiley face.
Right,
because if it was a winky face, I would have ignored you.
See, I had the prime amount of flirtation without being creepy. So
Ugh.
it worked out. Here we are.
Tell us the differences between your two personalities and how you make it work in marriage.
Wow.
Wow.
So we're gonna mostly speak on it as just like general couple because we just got married. But I think a lot of like the way we were living was essentially like we were married. We just didn't have the piece of paper, so I think it kind of applies to everybody. Yeah. But you can kind of start if you want.
I mean, Josh and I are very similar in a lot of ways, but we're also very different in a lot of ways. So we complement each other, but we also challenge each other. The differences between our personalities.
I think we touched on it earlier. Like you're much more like I need to know what's happening. I need
I'm the nerd.
Plan everything out.
Yeah, I'm the nerd in the relationship. I like, you know, things a certain way. I like to keep the house tidy. Not that he doesn't like to keep the house tidy, but like I keep up with things on a daily basis. Like I'm like on a schedule essentially. And he's a little bit more like go with the flow.
Yeah.
Like
if I get to the dishes one day that I don't.
Lets the dishes pile up for days.
But I'm a very neat person.
He is very clean.
The only reason I do that is because I get distracted. Because I'm so go with the flow, I'm like, oh, well, today I want to go make this video.
You're a clean person, but you're kind of messy. Like, you always leave your crap in the bathroom. And, like, I have to pick it up.
But, I mean, essentially, like, I'm trying to answer the question with value. You basically just have to, I think,
like work with each other's differences.
Work with each other, but I will say, like this is my personal opinion, it's probably not a very popular opinion, but I think that every person that is thinking about getting married and or in an extended relationship should live together. Living together really shows you.
It taught us so much about each other individually and as a couple.
You think you know someone. You think you know someone.
And so you live with them and spend almost 24 hours with them every day.
You find out they leave their underwear all over the floor, or they...
I don't do that.
I'm talking about myself.
What's one habit you both have picked up from each other? I honestly don't think we have.
No, we definitely have. I know for me, even though I'm not as good as I should be, it's like grooming myself and being better about taking care of myself.
No, that is not a habit that you formed. I still literally have to scream at you every night to wash your face. I don't know the answer to that question. That's a really hard one.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a skip on that.
Yeah. What was your favorite moment from your wedding?
All around favorite moment? It would probably be the reception. Just because of like the overall energy. I've never felt so many people happy at once. I mean, obviously I was like jazzed out of my mind happy, and so was Erika. But like I could just feel that everybody else was as happy for us as we were in that moment. And that was just like, I get teared up even thinking about it. But then also our first look, our first
look was really special, and we decided to read our vows together privately at our first look, which I really love that we decided to do that. But I think if I were to pick like a particular like actual moment, it's probably when, and there's like one picture of this, when we walked back down the aisle, and obviously we were pronounced husband and wife, and we like turned the corner, and Josh just like got like so excited, and he just like picked me up, and he like was like, we did it, and like spun me and like my 20-pound dress around in a circle, and my train of my dress actually like hit one of our signs and like made it knocked it down.
Yeah, and it was good because it was expensive and acrylic, so
yeah, it's still there, it still survived, it was fine. No, but I just thought that was really sweet because it's just like we had been engaged for so long and literally waited for that moment for so long, and it was just like we did it.
Yeah,
it was cute. I don't know how he picked me up in that dress because that thing was heavy.
Sheer excitement.
How do you balance working together and also balance your marriage? I feel like we do a pretty good job at it, but also like we don't really know any different because we both started our businesses when we were living together. So like we've just kind of adapted as we've gone along.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like I listen to a lot of podcasts and a lot of different like educators, and they always talk about work-life balance, and it's really like specific and personal to each individual person. Like Erika said, we've only known that. So like we're okay with working long nights. There was a period of time where I was working literally relentlessly to the point where I was like not spending time with anyone, let alone Erika, and she lived in the same house as me. And if you don't like keep that under wraps, eventually it gets to a point where you feel more like just two people living in a house versus a couple or a married couple. And I think as long as you're keeping that in check and you're like constantly talking to each other, like when that happened, Erika told me, she's like, I feel this way, you need to stop working as much, and we set boundaries. And when we cut off work, because as an entrepreneur it can be especially hard to cut off work, especially if you're working from home and together. So I feel like that's kind of what the question was.
No, and I also feel like it's important to talk like not just about work too, like during the day, like to talk 100%. About other things and to have other conversations and like try to set like boundaries and limits. I know it's hard, like we struggle with that a lot, you know, we say like no work after like this hour, but obviously like sometimes that doesn't happen like because of what we do, you know, our hours are all over the place. But I just feel like just like making sure you're still putting that quality time into each other every day, whether that's, you know, just like watching a movie together, watching a short amount of TV, cooking dinner together, like anything like that's just not work related.
Going on dates. I think on social media a lot of times it seems like people are perfect. We're not perfect. She just called me out right there for not taking her on a date anytime recently. Like you have to constantly like, it sounds bad, but call each other out. And
marriage is work. I mean, relationships are work, and that's what it is. You just have to constantly like, as long as you're expressing your feelings, and if you feel like that you're not like being loved enough or paid attention to enough or whatever it is that you might be needing, like that you speak up and tell your partner.
Just say it.
Someone asked again, how did we meet and how did he ask you to marry him? We already talked about how we met, and you want to tell a story about how, or should I tell a story?
Yeah, I'm still pretty proud of it. But I did ruin it because I took her car and I parked her car in the parking lot, so she was like...
Wait, okay, let me tell it then.
Okay, you tell it.
Okay, so Josh and I have talked about like getting engaged for a long time until he did. So
about 2 years.
Yeah,
about 2 years.
About 2 years. So I knew it was coming at some point. I really honestly didn't know when. So he had like, you know, was like, oh, I'm gonna go hang out with my friend on this day, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, like, whatever. And then later, like, I think it was later that week after you had said like, oh, I'm playing out with so-and-so that day, one of my friends messaged me and she was like, oh my gosh, this venue called Pippin Hill, it's a winery out in Charlottesville, which I am obsessed with. I love Pippin Hill, it's beautiful. They asked me to photograph a styled shoot for them, like, would you want to come and help me? And of course I was like screaming off the top of my lungs, like, oh my gosh, yes. And so that was planned for a while, so like I thought I was doing this like styled shoot kind of situation, like with my friend, and she was awesome. She dodged like all of my questions. I didn't really think anything of it until the morning of. For some reason I got this really weird feeling the morning of, like I was by myself waiting for Hope to come pick me up, and I just had this weird feeling. And
No, you said it before I left the door.
Oh yeah.
I was literally leaving. I was leaving, and I had played it off so long. The ring was literally sitting in my desk for like a month, and I was like, I had played it off, and Erika is the hardest person. It's so bad that we never end up giving each other gifts, because like on the actual day, like we never wait till like Christmas, because we are terrible at surprises, and we always end up telling each other, and she always pries until she gets her answer. So I had made it up to this point. Literally, I had my bag, I grabbed the last thing, which was probably the ring, and I was leaving the door. And I said, okay babe, love you, I'm gonna go now. And then she said, you're not proposing to me today, are you? And when I get uncomfortable, I uncontrollably laugh.
You played it off really well though.
I tried though. I was just
No, like, you did play it off really well, because I remember like I was like, oh, like of course not.
Because
like,
I told her, I was like, I'm sorry, I really wish I could, but like we're just not financially in a place where I have enough money to buy a ring right now.
So I just like dropped it. But I still had this weird feeling, and like even after you left, I kind of like thought on it, and I was like, maybe he is. And I literally, like I picked up my phone to call my sister to talk to her about it, and then I was like, no, like it's not gonna happen today, and I put my phone back down. So the whole ride to Charlottesville, which is about like an hour and a half, an hour from where we lived, I was asking Hope questions about the styled shoot and blah blah, and she like even drafted up like a fake email from like a fake account, like to really like,
she's the MVP for that.
Yeah, like really throw me off. And so we get there and we get out of the car, and we're like walking to like where the style shoot is, and I see my car, and I kind of look at it, and I'm like, that's my license plate, like that's my car. But it was like really quick, and I didn't think too much of it, but I was like, that's my car, what's going on? But before I could think about it, like I turned the corner, and he was there, and he was standing under like an archway of flowers that he had a florist come do, and it was really sweet. He was like playing our song. I mean, I honestly don't remember much. I was just like adrenaline rushing through every part of me. He asked me to marry him, and of course I said yes.
Which, fun fact, actually, because I like going off script, not that we're on script, I picked a different ring than the one she showed me. Oh yeah, I showed him this one ring, and I was like, this is exactly what I want, da da da, and he did something different, and I actually like it way better than what I picked out, so props to him. Okay, the next question is, where did we get our dogs? So both of our dogs kind of have an interesting story. For those of you who have been following us for a long time, you probably know this story, but for those of you who haven't been following us for that long, we had a dog pretty early on in our relationship. Like 6 months in, honestly.
Maybe a year. Pretty early in, and we decided to adopt a dog together, and his name is Hurley. He was the sweetest little boy. His nickname is Frumpy. He looked like this like miniature like golden retriever, like a golden retriever that you chopped off its legs too. Like he was just.
Then he gave a lot of cinnamon rolls too, because he was.
Yeah, he was really fat. And unfortunately, he passed away. He was hit by a car. It was a freak accident. He ran out of the house when we were at the beach, and unfortunately he passed away, and it was a very traumatizing experience for us. It was very graphic, and we don't need to get into that. So we were like really sad. Obviously we were really sad, but like like especially for me, like
there's like a void.
Yeah, there is a void. Like I'm a huge animal person. Like I like believe that like if you give your heart to an animal, like they give their heart to you, and like I was like really sad. So we had been like looking at dogs for a while, and I really wanted to rescue, because we got Hurley from a puppy store, and I just don't really like the idea of that. But we couldn't find any dogs that we like really connected with, and that was like the big thing, is because like our dogs now and Hurley, like we connected with them, which is why we got them. So we've been looking for like so long, and then we ended up going into a puppy store. I was a new one that was in Fredericksburg, and Lila was there, and it was just kind of like this, oh my gosh, like I'm so in love with her, like there's a connection, but I don't want to support a puppy store.
Yeah, so it was pretty hard, because like we really were conflicted, because we're like, this is the last thing we're gonna do, we're not gonna support that, and like ultimately we did end up buying from there. Obviously we have Lilo, but like, you know, it is bad to support them. The puppy shop went out of business anyways because of allegations. But Lilo deserved a home. And she's the best little kitty. She's sleeping. Come here, wee wee. This is my princess. This is my baby little nugget. Yeah, so then we had Lilo. Kisses. Thank you. She's my baby. Oh, here comes Ollie boy. Here comes
Ollie boy. And then Oliver, on the other hand, we had Lilo for about 2 years. Ollie boy, say hi. Say hi. We had Lilo for about 2 years, and when we were living in another part of Richmond here, we had a store that we would go and like puppy supply store, and we were going in to get food, and we had Lilo with us because we bring Lilo everywhere with us. So we went into this dog store, and Oliver was there, and
he did this.
Yes, and he just like was instantly like so lovey, and like we had been thinking about getting another dog to like, keep Lilo company, because she's a small dog, she has anxiety. He was at the puppy store, and they were like, he was snuggling with Josh, and he was playing with Lilo, and he was so sweet. And then the woman who owned the dog like came over to us and was like, oh my gosh, like, you know, you do so well with him, and like your dog loves him so well. Yeah, she was just like, he needs a home, like would you be interested? And we just kind of looked at her like, why would you want to give this sweet angel away? And she kind of told us the story, and it's a long story, but basically it technically wasn't her dog, and she also couldn't take care of him any longer because of her situation. So she was like, I have all of his stuff with me. Like a family was supposed to potentially like take him this morning, but it didn't work out. And we were like, yeah, like absolutely we'll take him. Like he's the sweetest thing on earth, and now he's part of our family. And Lilo gets jealous. Nice. Josh. No, but they do really love each other now. They definitely fight like brother and sister, and it took them a while to like get used to each other, but they love each other now. They keep each other company, they snuggle. They're the best. I mean, they are still little pain in the rear sometimes. But they're so loving, and they cuddle me
obviously,
every
look at them.
night, and I just
Look
love
at
them
them.
so much. I love them, my little Ollie boy. Alright, so yeah, that's all the questions we have today. Thanks for asking them, and if you guys like these kinds of videos, give us a thumbs up to let us know. And yeah, subscribe if you want. I don't really know what else to say. If you're curious as to why we switched over this YouTube channel and why I'm doing YouTube now sporadically, or however you want to say it, go ahead and watch my last video. It was a Nordstrom haul. I kind of talk about it in there. So yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.
Bye.